It's 'cause you guys don't use WhatsApp. That's the thing.
I use WhatsApp for business,
shit,
but not for
That's
bullshit.
What the hell? No, stop the
that's the
damn
thing
tape.
I-
Cut damn tape. What in the hell is it when Mexican people love with some goddamn WhatsApp?
Dude, it's the
What
most
the
fucked
fuck
up
is going on with
communication.
that
Everyone loves it.
All right, welcome to episode 11.
11.
Fuck, bro. 11 already.
11 already.
Damn. How many bottles? How many?
Well, they always say 11 comes after 10, right? So I guess it is 11.
Is it 5 o'clock already?
Not quite, but I don't give
It's
a damn.
somewhere, right?
Hey, it's close enough.
All right. So episode number 11 already. We have a special guest. My good friend, our good friend, Ryder Garcia, entrepreneur by heart, by life. You know,
It's for life, I say.
for life.
For life,
And
it's
so we got a couple of stories we're gonna go over.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the logistics industry, the technology behind the logistic industry, your company, Distrubi as well. So we appreciate you being here.
Appreciate
Welcome
you
to
guys.
Business and Bullshit.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, seriously, I mean, I love what you guys are doing with the show and everything, and it's an honor to be here, really.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Right.
Once again, my partner Marcus Hollyman.
What's up?
What's up? What's popping?
Hey, you got to keep your game tight.
All right, so we're gonna start Business and Bullshit, episode number 11.
11.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, bro. I'm
Earlier,
good.
you mentioned you felt kind of nervous. Are you still nervous?
Yeah, that's
A little
that's
nervous. It's different, being on the
No
set.
different than
It
being
is.
in Laredo presenting with politicians and shit like that. You know,
Well,
It's-
I was saying I was nervous as fuck for that too. You know, I mean,
No different than House of Whiskey. We're just sitting around.
don't worry,
drinking and
only
talking.
1 million people are gonna be
Nah,
watching
no
this.
mas.
So it's
No
just
mas.
like it's just-
that's the thing. People will go to the archives. I know this is gonna pop. You know.
Oh,
so,
yeah, definitely.
You know, once people go to the archives, they're gonna be, what did this motherfucker say back then? You know, so.
that's the whole idea. So why don't we start a little bit with the main topic that everyone wants to know? Your company, Distrubi, right? Our team has developed a set of questions that they are curious to know about, And one of the first questions we would like to ask you to open up the forum, because we're going to start first with business and then bullshit, right? That's the idea?
That's what it's all about. Business and bullshit. 70% bullshit, 30% business.
All right, so let's go straight first with business so we can
Let's
start
get the
doing
business
the
out of the
bullshit.
way
Get
so
the
we get to the
business.
bullshit.
All right, so first question to you, my friend. Where did you get inspiration to start Distrubi and work with logistics? Actually, you kind of right now attached to the logistics industry in Laredo, Texas. Your company's in Laredo, Texas. So what is Distrubi?
Yeah.
And what does it do?
Yeah, so Distrubi is a distribution center that's helping startups and entrepreneurs, also mid-size, shippers. Essentially, we're trying to make trade easy for them because it's incredibly complicated, the whole customs brokerage process. Trying to get it on Amazon for your first time. I know it's been a while since you guys have done that. You're already crushing it on there, but the very first time trying to figure out FBA is actually kind of difficult for a lot of people. So,
Yeah, it is.
So just, even something as simple as that, something as simple as trying to do, Amazon FBA now, 100 times harder trying to import or export your products. So I had an issue with when I was buying, sanitizers from Mexico.
Yeah. I remember that venture you implemented.
Yeah, so I invested, I lost $10,000 trying to do that process.
Part of the entrepreneur, right? You don't lose,
You pay your dues,
you
man.
pay your dues for that, right?
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. My partner didn't know what the fuck he was doing, with the supplier. And nobody wanted to help us, because it was too small. It was only like 3 pallets.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to help you with that. And I just realized there's this huge void in the industry to help these small shippers get started. So from there, it became my mission to really try to understand it first and then simplify it. I'd love to simplify what I was
Automation,
Yeah.
automate it, and that way, it doesn't make sense for these big players to help these small guys. I totally get it. Maybe they're busy doing, $100,000 a day transactions for one shipper. So
Right.
trying to do a $500 a month load
They
is,
don't want to touch you.
yeah, you're going to lose money. Yeah.
Just giving some shouts out to Ryder. Yeah, y'all said we was too small, so yeah, we know what time it is. It's all right.
Well, that's right, right?
Ryder Logistics.
Now we're with Deliver.
Yeah, now
right?
we
Proud to partner with Deliver.
rolling
Exactly.
with Deliver, so
All right. Make
shouts
sure-
out to Ryder.
Make sure you put Deliver in here, even though they're not paying for this.
We'll put a contract out on y'all.
Thanks,
man.
thanks, Deliver, for all this.
Thanks for nothing, Ryder.
And thanks for nothing,
Talking
Ryder.
shit. Made us go through the whole process. Well, what do you have and what do you
Exactly.
ship and how much? As soon as they found out how much we were shipping or how much we weren't shipping,
Yeah.
they didn't even return our call.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
They're like,
right.
you're like, oh, how many trucks are you planning to ship per month?
Oh, only one truck? Oh, no, sorry.
Like, oh,
Thank you. Come again.
I guess
call you.
I guess I'll just go through the form. Even, even the SDR starts being fucking arrogant.
Please leave a message.
Exactly.
But that's all right, though. We're coming up. We're rolling.
So I have
That's
I
the
have
thing,
I have
yeah.
seen the development of when you wanted to start working with Amazon, you wanted to start first on the product side, selling products, right? Send it over to Amazon using their platform, which is the FBA platform fulfilled by Amazon, where you centralize the products to their warehouses, right? And Amazon does the transaction for you on behalf of the customer. That's the product business model. But then my sense right now is that the evolution of that now it's more towards the service side.
Right.
Because from you losing the $10,000, tried out and exercised the whole process of selling products to Amazon. Now you say, you know what? I'm going to do Distrubi as a service. You have currently a client, big client, right? Where you actually helping them push that type of structure. What exactly is the business model then on that process? What is exactly Distrubi offering as a value added for those freight forwarding or logistics, for instance, here in Laredo?
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, that was a process, right? I still do a little bit of e-commerce, shipping in some seasonings and
Some cash flows and all that, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely helped a lot, to get into the business, and then even just I shipped a pallet, right? Was like the first kind of like breakthrough. It was like, oh, I have to actually send in an LTL pallet, and that was a whole other learning process, right? It's like, how does this work? So coincidentally, a week later, someone needs the same thing, and he's in like North Carolina. He's like, I have a shipment from China coming in, and I have no idea how to send it to Amazon. Can you help me? Nobody wants to help me. Same story. So this happens in the U.S. and Mexico. So I help him through the process, help him do the LTL. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of people who need this. So we helped him through the whole process, getting it. We receive it. We receive his merchandise. We do cross-docking, storage, pick and pack. Pick and pack is what we love to do. Receive traditionally here, a lot of it is you send in truckloads, and then you just move the whole truckload. What we like to do is get the truckload and then redistribute to all your different selling points or to Amazon selling points.
That's actually the conversation we got with Marcos Benavides from from Brennan and Co. And we have some friend of ours reach out to us about the business model of pick and pack, right? And nowadays it's becoming extremely, actually it's becoming a necessity for the logistics / supply industry. Especially here on the border between Mexico, especially here in Laredo, which is border between Mexico and United States. Yeah. So, for instance, we have this special client where we're consulting, right? Where his client is from Mexico, but sells its product in the United States, in Utah, for instance, right? And the fact that the product it's in Laredo first warehouse. He can offer that service of doing the pick and pack.
Right.
Do you see that demand moving forward as we, grow the industry, the e-commerce industry grows?
Definitely. So I'll even give you a perfect example of this. Like first-time shipper, they got an order from it was like a Whole Foods in Dallas or something like that, and so he said, okay, well, I want help with the customs brokerage, all of that, right? So you have to have the whole thing. So they need different parts of it. So we helped them with the exportation, and then we told them, well, why don't you send an extra pallet and start your omni-channel, right? Why don't you start selling on Amazon too? So, okay, well, we'll send 2 pallets. And so now they start testing the online market because in Mexico, there isn't much of an e-commerce market yet. It's like 20 billion. Here, I think it's like 300 billion. So it's still very small. So these guys don't have the mentality of or know how, right? What you guys have captured in second nature to you now is just foreign to everyone else. So these guys, I'm telling them, you know what, why don't you start selling online? Send us an extra pallet. So now we're getting, you know, more volume from that. But now we say, okay, well, we'll send it to your distribution point still as you get purchase orders for these pallets. But we'll also now ship it to your client. So we do fulfillment. You know, networks, speaking of deliver, right? A lot, they build out these networks and they have multiple warehouses. But really, when it comes to like using USPS or UPS, you really only need 3 in the country right now to be able to deliver next day or 2 days. And that's, you know, the West Coast, East Coast, and Central.
That's right.
So really, the way we see is, even for like most of the clients that we've had in terms of pick and pack and direct to consumer fulfillment, even from Laredo, we're able to ship. So we're doing the labeling and then shipping it to the client. We receive these orders in our system, and just every day we know that the next day they're going to pick up and deliver.
And the trend is stemming from the entire retail industry. The legacy industry was based on shipping from a manufacturer to a distribution center to a retail physical outlet. So the boxes are stacked on pallets, and they're designed for a stock boy to take his razor blade and cut it and put the cereal on the shelf or whatever. There's a whole lot of changes that have to happen, because the process of shipping to the consumer or getting it ready for e-commerce is different than the process of shipping it to a Whole Foods or a retail store or Macy's or whatever.
Big difference.
So it has to have a totally different labeling system, totally different packaging system.
That's
so
right.
You're talking about an entire legacy industry worth trillions of dollars that's going to have to pivot at some major percentile.
Right.
So that's what's generating all this demand.
And I would say, from what I've seen, there's not much interest from the biggest players to do this because it's a pain in the ass.
Because they're not, you know, elephant can't scratch his ass, right? They're not built for that shit.
Yeah,
You know, they're not built to do that. And that's the problem with legacy industries. They don't change. You know, hell, the dinosaur, he might be dead, but it takes a while for him to, you know, fall apart, right? It takes time. So
I always love your analogy of, you know, the Titanic versus the pirate ship. You know, you have a big Titanic, and, you know, to try to move away from that iceberg is going to take some time. With a pirate ship,
nimble.
Move all
It's
over.
like Walmart on e-commerce. We partnered with Walmart.
That's a good point.
Walmart,
They actually understand it. There's one of the few that actually get it.
they're the ones who get it, but they're getting it after 20 years that, you know,
20 years late.
that Amazon now has developed an infrastructure
Exactly.
big enough to now, you know, eat the whole e-commerce they want to.
Yeah.
Now they want to catch
Because
up.
60% of the e-commerce, it's Amazon still, right? But, you know, interesting enough, Walmart, it's slowly integrating their platform, the opening for third-party sellers as well. That's where we come in. You know, we leverage their platform as much as they leverage from us, right? Because we provide them the suppliers, the supply, right? And, you know, they start building the infrastructure as well, the fulfillment centers.
Right.
And, you know,
Yeah, they just rolled that out recently.
and they're just slowly going to be building more and more and more
Well,
and more.
2 days ago, they released a newsletter that now they're going to merge the 2 shops. So now, instead of Walmart.com and then your local grocery,
Right.
they're going to merge them. So you guys are going to probably see an uptick in orders.
Yes.
I'm assuming what you can do is you can order online as you're doing for your local grocery and say, hey, by the way, these 3 products are going to get to you within 2 days or next day.
That's the play, and that
That's
gives
sick.
you
I
an
mean,
edge. That's what giving us edge as well, because we're leveraging that.
We're leveraging that.
That access.
Yeah.
That versus other competitors that
Right.
they're still don't know how to, because
How do you adjust, right?
even
Yeah.
the platform, it's new. That doesn't mean it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
very manual.
Far from perfect.
Yeah.
It's far from perfect, and it's far from automated like Amazon platform.
Yeah.
Amazon platform is super automated. You can actually build print out labels, submit your products, you know, the inventory, register the inventory that you're gonna.
Yeah, you can do it
send
all
over.
without any human
Everything,
interaction whatsoever.
It takes a couple of steps to actually, you know, understand the
simple.
process.
Yeah.
But when you actually, you know, transition now with Walmart platform,
It's more hands-on.
Yeah.
it's more manual process where you have to upload Excel files, you know, flat files, what they call it. Sometimes those flat files they don't match, you know, and then on top of that, you know, there's fucked up process, you know,
You have to update their
miscommunication.
system. You have to update the system manually.
The system updates.
manually.
Exactly.
You have to
So-
update your inventory manually, you
You
mean?
have to update the order flow manually.
Even
You
though
have
it's
to-
fulfilled by them.
Yeah, you have to let them know that
That's
you've done
ridiculous.
your part. Yeah.
But it's a work in progress.
They're getting better, but it's taking them time.
And
Maybe I should tell them like, hey, this is how you.
So,
and manually updating inventory. I didn't realize they were that far behind.
That's some of the challenges that we're having our side. But we're growing as long as they keep growing, we're growing with them, and we're just adjusting and we're training and we're coaching our. We are.
I think they only have over around 100,000 sellers versus Amazon in the million range, and it's a little bit harder to get on Walmart. It's a vetting process. So for all that it takes away, it does have upside. As they begin to get their act together, and you're one of the early participants partnering with them, you can grow with them. It's kind of like going back to Amazon 7 years ago.
More, 10 years.
More, 10 years back.
ago.
Like Back to the Future,
Right.
Yeah. So
I was a little surprised about their sales side. So I signed up for an account trying to just get an idea of like how it works, and they actually call me every other week.
It's a human process. They vet your location. They Google map it. They want to make sure they go through a whole lot more vetting.
But I mean, even trying to sell you on the platform, like, hey, so we noticed you still missing some steps. Do you need any help? Oh shit, they're like trying to get people on. Yeah, that's
the more stuff they got, the more demand the more traffic they can bring.
I've never gotten a call from Amazon that's like, hey, do you want to get on our platform? They're like, we already have too many of you.
And I think the mighty Amazon, the mighty Walmart is bigger. They're the biggest physical retailer, right?
Yeah.
I think they've even discovered that what Amazon has discovered. Amazon is basically a pimp. They learned a long time ago. It's better for me to ride your inventory than me to have all the inventory.
Right.
Walmart's still dealing in a world where they have 90% of the inventory.
That's
but they're learning that, hey, as we begin to grow our e-commerce, we don't have to stock that. Yeah. All of our seller partners, we can leverage their dollars, their inventory, so that frees up our capital. Yeah. Because I don't care how rich you are, you just can't. You can't invest in everything.
You can't blow your capital like that. Just return-wise, it's not.
Right. One question we have in the agenda, it's the term of technology, the term of technology with logistics. Mm-hmm. How is actually technology changing the logistics industry, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, when we talk about technology, it's very broad. You can talk about software, platforms, APIs, automated process, and all that shit. Right?
I love that shit.
All that, yeah. You fucking like when software talk to each other and flirt with each other and hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I know you like that shit.
He's into programmable porn.
You're an API porn.
Yeah, exactly. I get off to Zapier.com.
As a matter of fact, this is a nerd joke, so I'm sorry for those who don't understand this.
Be one of those nerds guys. Understand that.
I understand that. But one thing that so we can keep the focus on the conversation in this, right?
Is that what we're doing? All right.
Is that?
Trying to stay focused.
It's the technology. One of the technology behind
that. Put this aside then.
One of the technology behind that. It's the e-commerce, right? E-commerce actually pushing those logistics or freight forwarding companies to come up with the technology behind that. I'm very curious to know because now it's becoming a service for those who understand the e-commerce. You're part of it already because you had your company doing a service for your clients, right? Mm-hmm. The big money it's kind of like focus on right now when offering this service on the labeling and offering labelings that you can do volume on labels, thousands of labels per month, and you charge them $150, or is it in the service of registering their product in platforms like Amazon or Walmart or building their own Shopify? Where's the core of the big bucks hidden in there, waiting to be tapped?
Yeah, so there's definitely two sides to this, right? I think service side, what I always see in terms of offering, you look at store.com or deliver.com, they're selling a network. They're saying like network is a thing, but as I was saying earlier, you only need 3 really major logistics warehouses, that can handle all the volume in major places to be able to offer what most of them offer. So, although I see them all talking about like fulfillment is a way, I really don't think so. Especially with Amazon allowing you to do omni-channel fulfillment, it's just really difficult to compete with.
Yeah, they're like swallowing it back. They're regurgitating it and swallowing it back up. Because they're going to start eating these deliverers up because they're allowing you to do it through their system. One of the only negatives is though, you can't use Amazon fulfillment to fulfill everything, just about anything you want to ship. Use their network, but there's a couple of quirks. Number one is Amazon and Walmart hate each other.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They find out you shipping one on the other, they bust your ass. So they don't like each other, so that's a problem, because you're going to run into those customer flows at some point. And the other thing is, until they figure this out, they got to put that damn smiley face on every damn box. So if I'm shipping something from my store and I'm using Amazon fulfillment, I don't want no damn smiley face on the box, because the customer's like, I thought I just bought it from you.
Right.
Why am I getting an Amazon package? So they got to clean that shit up. So if they're really going to do, like you said, omni-channel and start fulfilling for others, they're going to, hey, Jeff, get some brown boxes, man. You ain't got to put your damn name on every damn thing, man.
Yeah.
Get just some plain-ass boxes, so when somebody uses it, it don't need to come from Amazon. But they're just branding, they brand pimping you, So anyway.
That's the cost, right, of doing business with them, is you have no brand control.
No brand control.
Even inserts, you start playing on the edge of some risk where they might, slash you for that.
But if I'm going to pay them to do the logistics part of it, like if I'm going to pay the post office, right?
Right.
Then I know they can't put my logo on the box, but at least let's make the box generic, so I can drop ship the shit without it seeming like it's coming from Amazon.
Right.
Because believe it or not, some customers get all freaked out over that shit.
So of the product business and selling directly to Amazon, is it the pick and pack, where the big box, well, not the big box, but the opportunities to be made and exploit?
The only thing is, I don't know if you're going to have a lot of margin there, but there's work to be done there. It's kind of like, dishwashing is always going to be in bit style, but then dishwashers don't make a lot of money. So pick and pack, you're always going to need it. Yeah. But I don't know what your margin power is going to be.
The way I see it going is, so you're going to have to get into drone fulfillment. So that means FAA, right? That means a ton of things. So do you want to deal with the fulfillment side, right? And that means Deliver having to do that, Shopify fulfillment network. All of these guys have to do that.
What do you hear right now? All these cats driving these vans, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They approached us with that, where you could get into the Amazon logistics, where remember, it was about 2 years ago, they made an offer to us, hey, Laredo territory is open, y'all can start getting some vans.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
We needed $300,000 to get started, and they would provide the financing and all that. But that, from what the news is saying and what people are saying that got into that business, they say it's a nightmare, right? Drivers can't, they're taking a piss in the van.
It's a nightmare. You have only one. You need to have a couple of vans. Which also becomes more
if you
headache.
Can't make money with the one, you're just scaling dog shit, right? You ain't getting nowhere.
They don't let you make very much money.
That's my point. You're
buying yourself a job.
You're basically working for Amazon. Yeah. And they have those serious demands on delivery.
But it's like the trucking business. You don't make money right away on one single truck. The real money comes after you have your 4th or 5th
you have economies of scale, but if you can't make margin on one, scaling the 50 is just scaling the problem.
It's capital intensive, and I see that with the transportation. I was advising a over 100 truck startup. I mean, it's not startup, sorry, 100 truck transportation.
I don't consider 100 startup.
It's a big ass startup.
Sign me on to invest in this special venture capital.
Some VC money.
Top shelf shit. Man. Hey, we got a baller in here. Let's get out the heavy dollar shit.
Exactly.
What do I sign for the private placement in capital?
100 trucks is pretty sizey, and yes, margins are, capital expenditure is so high that the margins are so tight, and I see that's the same way for the fulfillment network, for the Amazon trucking, but
you'll be creating a job basically if you're not careful.
I think the opportunity here is really, if you want to, you're still going to use those fulfillment networks. It's part of all supply chain, right? So we want to take on as much of the supply chain, but also be realistic about what parts we don't want to get into yet.
Selectively, right? Selective strategy.
Yeah. So what I want to focus on is, okay, we're gonna
Distribute. What Distrubi is focusing on?
Right, Distrubi. So I'll send 2 pallets for this small shipper and another 5 pallets for this one, and 100 pallets to this person to deliver this week. I'm storing some of his other stuff that's going to go to a Walmart. It's going to go to a Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. So the distribution element is the key part that I want to be on.
I guess it makes sense because a logistic company is a broker by nature. Yeah. So the way it gets the technology, or not the technology, but the way it gets to logistics to evolve now is to now brokerage the fulfillment for the client for its products to be distributed now on those fulfillments at Amazon, Walmart.
Leverage your expertise.
Right.
Because what's the number one metric in business? PITA. PITA.
Big time.
Well, you know what that means, right?
Everything is all about managing PITA.
What is PITA? Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You better know that metric. You better know your PITA. because you'll get yourself in something that you wind up working your ass off for less and less margin, and less margin control, margin leverage. So PITA is king in any business.
And I would say, you know, each part of the supply chain is millions or billions of dollars that there's opportunity just waiting for you, right? So it's about focusing on which one has the lowest PITA.
Exactly.
Definitely. Which one has the lowest pain in the ass, and you can easily scale without capital expenditure, and you can quickly scale into things that people, you know, aren't really ready for, because it does require a lot of technology to manage pick and pack for multiple distribution points. Even like I used to hear like, oh, like Magaya is a shit. That's a software in the logistics industry. Like, oh, that's the fucking Ferrari of the industry. You know, the company I'm working with had that, and it's dog shit. You know, it can't even integrate into any of your Shopify stores or any of your Amazon. It's dog shit, and that's what everyone's using. But because how do you develop software? You now have to be a technology first company. So companies like Flexport.com, XPO, you know, doing GXO, they just spun it off into a multi-billion-dollar investment they see it all as a winner-take-all model, and they're technology-driven, you know, automated. So whoever's not investing in technology is probably going to get their ass handed to them.
That's right. That's 100%. What has been the setbacks that you are experiencing so far in your company? What is the things that you say, fuck, this is a lot of different work, but I'm already doing it? What are the things that you experience that you are evolving in this industry?
I guess, you know, early stages, capital is always, especially if you're bootstrapping, you know, you see the opportunity, it's like right in front of you. And, you know, to make the decision of we're going to prioritize our current capital into this rather than this, you know it's killing your thing, right? So I want to focus on small shippers, but I have to do the medium-sized shipper stuff like cross-docking. I'll move automotive, you know, stuff for a wheel company or for like a Ford thing that just somebody couldn't handle. They were overloaded. So we'll do some of that overflow, send it to, you know, an expediters. So we're kind of like scraping up whatever we can on the mid-size to be able to retain the cash flow that we need to invest in our vision, which is the small shippers. That infrastructure is not cheap. You know, trying to develop software at that scale is not cheap. So
there's still no software that can help. That it's a one software for everything. Still not there yet. We're not there yet on that part.
It's there, but it's in house. XPO, proprietary. I mean,
but you can license those softwares.
XPO is not going to give it to you. That's their advantage.
That's the core.
Like Flexport.com, I think is one of the most exciting ones to look at because they did exactly what we're trying to do, but for Chinese trade. They're helping all these small shippers. They have all these educative, knowledge bases, and then their software manages everything from the communication to, you know, the documents that you need. It's essentially, have you ever used HubSpot CRM?
Yeah.
So it's a HubSpot CRM for trade, and they just have all of these integrations inside of their system, and they manage everything.
Yeah, but for instance, the problem with HubSpot, it's that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm confusing with Hootsuite. My bad.
Oh, okay.
That's more like content.
Media management.
But it's
similar.
It's similar, but you distribute content on
They're
that
trying
part.
to roll up a lot of different tasks.
But the fuck though with even though Hootsuite could be like, fuck, this is great for automation because you can automate your content and probably split it a little bit. When you actually want to spread your videos to all platform, every platform has a different format. And I'm assuming it's the same thing, the same analogy with the logistics too.
Definitely.
Every module or every application or anything like that has a different format that it's hard for you to adapt. You know, it's a lot of moving variables on that part.
So it definitely, so on the customs broker side, I think that's the heaviest part in terms of building out a systematic process. You're talking about NOMs is what they call them, and essentially the requirements that you need to import or export a product. Mostly Mexican, requirements. That's the hardest thing. Actually, people, ship products from China to the U.S. first, so that it's easier to ship from the U.S. to Mexico because of how difficult it is to import into Mexico. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
I think it's a whiskey. It happens when you have already like a lot of whiskey in it.
Drank like 3
and
shots.
that's the signal when we're bullshitting a lot in business. So I guess
well, that's a signal to start bullshitting.
it's a signal to start bullshitting now.
And it was such a good point.
You actually
I was like,
told me I'm gonna throw you the signal where that we have to change it now to bullshit now. And I
look-
think I got
when
it.
I
Now
look
it's
at
the
my
time.
train of thought, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, I was
That's
excited
your-
about it because it's such a big part of it, you know. Like, but
That's your
I lost
safe-
my train of
safe
thought.
word.
We'll come
You
back
like-
to it later.
we'll
It's
come
my
back-
safe word. It's my
We'll
safe
come
word.
back to it later.
Yeah, that's no
But I guess, Distrubi as a platform, a lot of shit to do, things to overcome, right? But
Yeah.
it's excited moving forward. That's the things that you overcome. So that the things that you are overcoming, right?
Yeah.
As you go in this industry, it's, I guess, what you said, capital expenditure, right?
That was the thing. So essentially, Flexport over time developed their standards, right? So you start with one thing, right? You know what's going to be exported the most, and then you develop your standards around that. With Mexican and brokers, there's so many different points that it's like, okay, well, over time we'll standardize this. Right now, we're going to do it. Essentially, the whole model for the Distrubi is do it the old school way first, so that you build out that system, you get that data, and then with that data, then you can create a system around it that's automated. And I think that's the part
And then
that's
you can
missing.
also find points of improvement. You can see where the bottlenecks are too.
Every transaction that we do, we're trying to build a system around simplifying it because it's not the only one.
Right.
We had a parcel, or we're doing parcel management for a company in Mexico. They send us 200 to 300 parcels per day. You're talking about random boxes all day, right? Just coming in from Russia, from China, from all over the United States, Canada. And well, the first process was, okay, we're going to take a picture of, on WhatsApp, send it to a guy in Mexico so he can manually type the tracking link. Like, that's how a lot of people handle it.
All right. Damn.
Yeah, now, I mean, it was a shit show. Within a week, we were like, fuck, I don't know if we can do this. And so, we looked at it. I built the software around now with the iPhones of the warehouse workers. They scan each one. Everything's automated. And it literally took like 2 days to build that out. And now, no problems. Everything's accurate. Everything's streamlined. Now, do that across the entire industry, and you're starting to talk about
I'm getting somewhere. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean, I think that's clarified that the need of entrepreneurship in the industry needs to be applied, because that's the kind of like, when you are an entrepreneur by heart, right? You kind of like build that passion to improve and innovate and, everything around you to make it better.
Well, that's what entrepreneurs do, right? They find a problem and provide solutions and try to make $1 out of 15 cents, right? In the process.
I think it's our natural instinct. I can't imagine a world.
We're hustlers, you try to find, you see something that needs doing or something that ain't getting done right, or you see an opportunity, hey, I can do this and move this to there and, make a nickel out of it. Let's go. Let's roll.
I have a special note right here from the bullshit side that says Marcus and Roger. It says, what were your first impression of each other? You guys are both entrepreneurs by heart,
Yeah.
You guys fell in love right away, or start dating first, or what's the story?
I
remember the
remember
first
meeting
time.
Roger at we had some kind of business organization meeting, right? A business leaders group that was established, kind of like a meetup for business leaders. What was that, about 7 years ago?
I was like 9 years ago.
9 years. 9 years ago.
9 years ago?
9 years ago.
Shit, damn.
Yeah, it was a
All
while
right.
back.
So about 9 years ago,
Yeah, we're doing our civil duty.
we were going to this business leaders meetup thing, and I remember he came there, and we met there at one of these meetings. We were trying to, I think the subject of the meeting was trying to figure out how to create a new transportation system for Laredo or some shit like that.
Right.
But he's going to tell his version of it, but this is, I met him there. He was younger then, 9 years ago. Look at him now.
How old are you right now, Roger?
I just turned 28 last week.
Shit, you were 21.
Yeah, he was just carrying
I
legal.
was 20, I think. Actually.
20 then.
How many
19.
pounds? How many
looks about
pounds
the same.
before? You look about the same?
No,
Yeah.
I've gained some weight.
Yeah.
I appreciate
He might have
that.
filled out a little bit. But anyway, I thought he
Oh.
was sharp. He was young, sharp and all that. So me, I'm putting some heavy opinions down in these meetings, because a lot of times leadership meetings and shit like that, people like to kick all this astrological shit about we're going to move and change the world and all that. Look, man, you're a long way from that shit. You got to have some common sense. So I was interjecting those types of thoughts, and then
went off.
it was intriguing to him, I would imagine. So we met up after, we hung around after, and I was like, damn, this dude is smart. He's young, but he's really, really smart. So that was my impression of him. And then that just kind of led into, I think we had a private equity firm at the time, because we were doing I was on the Economic Development Advisory Committee for the city, and we were my company was a paid advisor. It was our responsibility to bring economic development, FDI, foreign direct investment, from Mexico to the city of Laredo, right?
Right.
So I think we gave you an invitation eventually to join our firm, and you did. You started working with us there.
And he was 21 years old.
I was 19. I just got back from New York.
About 19, turning 20.
19.
That opens another can of worms because I met your ass through him. So there you go. It's a damn triangle shit going on here.
Can you put on this the little Spider-Man? It shows a little love right there. The little love triangle. Have you seen it?
It is a love triangle.
Have you seen that gift on WhatsApp?
It's a love triangle.
When there's it's because you guys don't use WhatsApp. That's the thing.
I use WhatsApp
use
for
that shit,
business,
man.
but not for
That's
bullshit.
What the hell? No, stop the
that's the
damn
thing
tape.
that
Cut damn tape. What in the hell is it with Mexican people love with some goddamn WhatsApp?
Dude, it's the
What
most
the
fucked
fuck
up
is going on with
communication.
that
Everyone
shit?
loves it.
Y'all love
it's good
that
for personal,
shit.
but it's not
Bro,
good for
WhatsApp
business.
is a
And
bomb.
then here's the thing. I can't watch my damn news. I can't watch TV at night. I'm trying to watch the damn game. And that shit's going off. I have to turn that shit off. Y'all, not only y'all love the shit, y'all can't stay off the damn shit. What in the hell is it with this WhatsApp shit, man?
Bro, WhatsApp is the bomb.
Get a life. Y'all on that shit all the
You know how
damn
many
time.
shit you can do with
God
WhatsApp?
damn.
You can send
unlimited memes.
stickers. You can send gifts. You can.
But y'all be sending some
you
bullshit.
can send voice notes. I mean, all those things.
Send
you
me
can,
some important shit. Don't be sending me a picture of y'all ass or the sun or the moon. Y'all be sending some bullshit. Look at what I ate. Here's a taco. What's the difference between this taco and that taco? This is red. Hey, this is the color red. Did you know what red looks like? All this kind of stupid shit, man.
Well,
Damn.
that's the perks of being in
That's
a
why,
WhatsApp group.
And then they ask me, why you ain't on your WhatsApp? Because y'all be on the damn thing all the time. Shit.
Yeah.
Send some real shit, I'll be on it. You send some bullshit, I'm going to be off of it.
Yeah.
Bro, WhatsApp is a bomb. And
Shit.
just make sure that back to the same principles
damn.
of how we start all this. Make sure you put that Spider-Man because there's a sticker on WhatsApp.
And see it because
have you
I
seen
know
it?
the pointing one where you're pointing at each other, but I don't know that one.
This Spider-Man, and he's like showing this love.
It's like the Snapchat for business people.
So every time you want to send some kind of love to your
Yeah.
friend or your family,
Let's
or something
point
like
at the
that,
cameras all at
through
the same time,
WhatsApp,
so that'll be the
when you
image.
do that through
Hey.
WhatsApp, you send over that Spider-Man with the love.
Hey,
don't
I'm
you?
old
there you
school.
go.
I'm old school.
Send that to me, so I'll
Hey.
save that sticker.
I'll send it to you right now.
Y'all do that shit like Snapchat. That's another thing y'all need to do. They need to get rid of that shit too.
It is a little like Snapchat
I'm old
sometimes.
school. You text me. Don't call me. Text me first. Don't call me. It piss me off. You call me. Text me or send me a damn email. That's it. Don't be sending me all that bullshit, them bleeps and tweets and shit.
I
don't want none of that shit.
have,
None of that shit.
I have noticed that the big division between the people who
Y'all,
are
what are y'all,
100%
Generation Z or E or F, G, one of them fucking things. What
FY.
generation is it now?
FYI, WhatsApp is the bomb. But back to the story, right? So I met you guys because of Roger. Oh, actually, I met you because of Roger.
Because of
He,
Don't ask me what I thought of this mother.
he's like, this guy's not only sharp, he's fucking genius.
No, I was like,
That's what he told me. Behind closed doors.
It
yeah.
wasn't that.
That's what he told me.
Like, God
Wasn't
damn,
like that.
this guy, right?
Roger, we were at the baseball stadium,
Yeah.
right? We were with the Lemurs then. We were running a baseball business then.
Right.
And Roger had moved. We went from private equity. That was one of our investments. So we were having to operate the investment, which is what you generally private equity guys don't want to do, but sometimes you have to do
Right.
because you can't source the
Distressed debt.
talent. If you can't get the talent, then the
Yeah.
private equity executives kind of got to step in there
We had
to
to take
protect the
over.
investors, right? So that's what we were doing. And Roger led, I don't know, you might need to fill in the blanks, but
Yeah.
you brought him
I
to the
invited him over
conference
for
room.
some
You
parties.
invited him.
Yeah.
You told me I'm going to bring this other cat over
Yeah.
here.
I told him he's one of my good friends.
And-
we
And
we
this
talk
motherfucker
trading. He's
coming
sharp.
here. First, he drives up in a 780 or 90 BMW. I don't know what I.
It was in
what
750.
number was
750i.
750 or
A
some shit like that.
750xi
He coming here
BMW.
with like one of those Philadelphia lawyer suits on. He tried. I said, this motherfucker think he was a pimp. He came here with one of them hot renter chicks. I don't know if it was his girl or a girl. And he was just.
Please omit that.
It's like, hey, the footage cut out
Just
and
for
the audio
record,
cut out at the same
just for the
time.
record, that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm like looking at him, I'm like, all right, is he a baller or is he want to be baller?
You know what? As he's actually telling the story,
anyway.
picture the scene where Mark Zuckerberg met the Justin Timberlake, right? That's how it's
That's what I'm
happening.
saying, yeah.
Fucking
Little
Mark
did they
Zuckerberg
know.
was sitting there like all goofy, right? And then Justin Timberlake comes in, all swag, saying hi
Suave.
to everybody. That's how you need to picture this story.
Diego always definitely played it cool. Always.
Yeah, he always had that. That's what got him in the door.
And then they got this little fantasy of doing this content. I remember that you guys.
We used to call it jam sessions back then, right?
Yeah, we would do jam
And
sessions
we had
daily.
a couple of mics, and we was doing it in the conference room at the stadium. So that's where it all started. Actually, 7 years ago, right? A long time ago.
I actually skipped all of my junior and senior year of college classes
to
to go to the real professor. I was like, this guy's reading a textbook. This other guy fucking, has actually done it. So I skipped all my classes.
So
for
you have
2
the
years.
fortune to experience entrepreneurship at
First
an early
hand,
age.
first
Yeah.
hand.
Well, that's
In
the
the
thing.
trenches.
I always say that Marcus saved me decades of bullshit because I was interested. I had just gotten back from New York, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do trading and
Was
all
that
this
your
shit.
second trip from New York or your first trip from New York?
After working there, so after the summer of working there.
After the summer working there, because remember the story that.
Yeah, we gotta get into that shit.
That's the next
I
story.
think it's coming,
That's
right?
coming
Yeah,
up. That's
exactly.
coming.
We
That's
gotta
how
get
we're
into
gonna wrap it up, but let's finish that.
Definitely. So I had just gotten back, and I met Marcus at that business meeting, and there's just, like you said, real pie in the sky sort of meeting, and then he and I just started going like no bullshit sort of meeting, treating it like with finance and how we would actually do it, doing bonds and all this shit. So afterwards,
Deal making, and then we started recruiting him. I started recruiting him.
yeah, everybody around, there's like 30 people just listening to what we were saying, going, oh shit, we were just going back and forth, and afterwards, and he's like, oh, I have a little private equity firm. I was like, you're fucking private equity, like, what the fuck? I just got back from trading stocks. It was like, private equity is like the shit,
The next thing, yeah.
So he's like, why don't you come over tomorrow, and we'll talk. And that after that day, it's been 9 years of friendship now, and he's like, well, we'll work over here, and we'll get you something paid and all that. So I just started working there, but really what it was, it's just a dreamland was. I was just working with Marcus every day on jam sessions, listening to.
It's the mentorship from it,
Yeah, I was getting paid to be mentored by an insane entrepreneur, and so for 9 years that saved me so much bullshit. That taught me a lot. That really gave me the foundation of
now he's got his own business now, successful firm running right now.
And that's
Definitely.
the value of any mentor.
purpose.
It's that more than actually time of they appreciate the time that they put in on you, right, on coaching you and mentoring.
Yeah.
I think the payback it's the avoiding those fucked ups that will set you back 3 or 4 steps from where you're currently.
Yeah.
I
I say decades.
And
Decades.
it's a
decades.
good,
My
it's
entire life has saved
a
me.
mentor protege is a good relationship.
Yeah.
Because the mentee gets years of knowledge, and they get hands-on application that you can't learn out of a textbook or somebody that ain't did the shit,
Yeah.
And then what the mentor gets out of it is the mentor is able to keep his blade sharp.
Right.
If you don't work in your craft, if you don't work on your craft on a regular basis, you're gonna get rusty, right?
Yeah.
So as a mentor, by working with Ryder and giving him, imparting on him some of my knowledge that I learned, I have mentors too.
Of course,
You know,
everybody has. I have my mentors
it's a
too.
chain. The chain pulls on both sides. I'm being mentored. I have mentors to this day, and I'm always giving back too. So by giving back, I'm keeping my blade sharp. And then when you get mentored, you're, like he said, you're saving years of headaches and years of pain and suffering that you would have to go through. So I think it's the best way to learn. If you go back in history, you used to have a master, right? A master, and then you used to have a fellow craftsman or an up and coming page or protege, right? That you learned under a grand master, right? You learned under somebody that knew what you wanted to know. There were no institutions and of higher learning. That's some bullshit that they came up with later as a way to get money out your ass and make you go through all of these gauntlet of bullshit to get a piece of paper that's really not relevant.
Right.
In the old days, you would go to the master, and then you would give him servitude. You would feed the horses and clean up the horse shit, and he would start teaching you the craft. So you're earning your keep, and then he's giving you the valuable knowledge. So we've gotten away from that in our society today because our society is so full of fluff and shit that we actually need to get back to that. So that's my little 2 cents on that shit. But,
And you're exactly right in terms of like sharpening the blades, right? And at the incubator, I was mentoring. I ended up mentoring about over 100 startups in total.
Now you're doing it,
Yeah, and I did that. Now I'm not with the incubator, but having
that's
built
the Mile One, which is a project that our firm developed for the city.
Exactly.
That you were one of the main managers over there.
Yeah.
So
you brought me in, and then I ended up running the whole thing and
running Mile One International Incubator, which was helping other startups. So it's just a cascading thing. Yeah.
That shit sharpened my blades, and even the guys there were like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Right? Like, you got to build your own shit. And there's this transition of entrepreneurship where it's hard to take that leap, but it was taken for me.
It's tough for an entrepreneur to fit inside of a corporate environment.
It's really difficult.
Just don't match up very good.
He's hitting the walls and shit.
I think the big factor of really aspiring to do something of your own, it's the ratio of your necessity.
Right.
Depending on, I have this theory that depending on the ratio of your necessity, it's how much gasoline that business model that you're working on, it's gonna freaking fly. If you said, because it's funny that I read this content from Gary Vee, where it says when you feel lazy about something or bored about something, that's not a negative factor. As a matter of fact, that's a positive factor in your process, because your mind, and your body is telling you in advance the things that don't want to do. So you better start looking for something else.
Start listening.
Yeah.
Start listening
to yourself. Yeah,
then
I like that.
Combine that process with the level of necessity that you have. That actually two ingredients are the ones that are gonna let you take over action right away, results right away. The fact that, for instance, you transition from one platform to another, you have some kind of necessity to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? And based on that necessity, makes you differentiate yourself from the ones who said, "Oh, I want to do this," right? But yet they don't have the necessity to do it.
Right.
And that's where frustration comes in. That's where the word of being, anxious and have anxiety on that and frustrated about not doing it, because you don't have the necessity to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big difference. And those are the things that you learn when you're an entrepreneur, in the entrepreneur journey. Speaking about, mentors, you're right. They save a lot of decisions and in decades. They save to you, years of fucked ups on PITA, just like you mentioned the pain in the ass, right? Because of my first mentor, I was able to, understanding how he works and he operates, and the time that he put on me in the beginning when I was like 17, 18 years old, allow me to filter quality decisions.
Right.
And that's actually the whole nitty-gritty that kind of like that's the main value of a mentor.
That's one of the most important things an entrepreneur got to do is make decisions.
Because of my first
mentor. Right decisions.
Exactly. Because of my first mentor, I was able to, as I was out of the woods and the jungle when I separate from my first mentor, be able to filter the quality of decisions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be years away from the things that, what I want it to be, you know. Then combine that with people that you're going to meet each other. Like, because of you, I met Marcus, and we form a real good partnership on that. Yeah, he has the principles and integrity, and I learned to build integrity and principles as well, because I know that's the real truth on becoming a real businessman. And I have learned this from Mexican heavy businessman investors over there that tell that's the different factor. If you don't have integrity,
if you rolling shady and riding dirty and shit like that,
that's just
it ain't gonna last.
And it's easy to smell from a mile away too.
And I mean, you don't want to be going to the grocery store getting your milk and hiding and shit, and you see somebody coming, you got to go the other way and all that kind of shit.
How do you live with yourself?
You stop at a stoplight, you got to let your seat down. You don't want to be rolling
windows.
like that.
Exactly.
So that's how
they get filtered out very quickly.
You can filter out, and I think that's how we come back again to the Spider-Man that shows the love right there. The love triangle, love. Which brings us back to the final conversation, which was the trip.
Now y'all got to get in this New York trip shit.
Now the New York trip.
Years ago. Now we're going even further back. What, 12 years?
That was
15 years, 10?
9 or 10 also.
It's 9 or 10, okay.
Because it all
10,
happened when
10.
I was 19 is when we were hanging out in the great room
Shit,
at
it
the
looks like
university.
you got all the best
So
things when you
everybody
were
was
19
dating
years
your
old.
ass at 19. Shit, you was like a
Wow,
little,
dude.
It was a
was a
pivotal
little-
time for sure. That
was a
whole year
little-
was
He was a
insane.
little entre hole. Everybody was pimping him at 19. Shit.
That was a crazy year because I had gone to this trip with Saif, which Diego was a part of as well. It's essentially this business club for the university, and we were helping out all these small businesses in the community, just practicing our shit, right?
All right.
And before that, I had just met Diego because he's the only other person in the entire school that I could talk stocks with, and he was at a
Y'all
really
went to college then, right?
Yeah.
Texas A&M?
Yeah, you were in college already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where y'all met at Texas A&M, right?
We met there, and I saw him. I was like, "What's this motherfucker? Right? He's real sharp." You
Talking
know?
shit. That's when he tried. You think he was a little pimp. You think he was a pimp, you know.
But he is a sharp motherfucker.
He tried to be.
Bring
He's
back
sharp
the
as fuck.
Justin Timberlake.
He
song.
tried. Goddamn.
Yeah, so we met, and he always had this perspective of taking me under his wing. Essentially like, oh, my little
Big brother.
brother.
He big brothered you.
Yeah, he big brothered me, and we were talking finance, and I was really into it with YO also. So we all became friends because we were like the only 3 guys who actually knew something about finance and stocks, or thought we knew something.
Especially on
Thought
that,
we knew. 'Cause
especially on that campus.
we didn't have
Yeah,
enough money to
exactly.
play
There's a
around
bunch of-
with.
Exactly. We were playing $500
It's a bunch of-
options
it's
and
a
shit.
bunch of-
Back in the old days, 1,000 was too much. So, like,
Exactly.
I'm putting $1,000 in the
yeah.
market.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tammy, there's a bunch of L7s over there.
And it was from our college refund, so that we were investing
That's-
that,
that's-
or
there's
scholarship
some,
money.
There's some squares over there. All right.
So yeah, we met at the great room, and we started hanging out more often because we enjoyed talking about finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to this competition in Dallas, and then Diego hits me up. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to New York. You wanna go?" I was like, "Bro,
I'm going. By the way, go to Greyhound and get your ticket.
exactly. Good luck."
Ain't nobody got no money.
I didn't have shit. I was a fucking college student, right? I was like, last time I went out of state was like Florida with my parents and to Disney World, and when I was like 6. So I was like, how the fuck am I gonna do this, right? As a broke college student, so. I call my friend Cesar and I'm like, hey, can you help me out? Return my laptop.
Yeah, that's right.
And he didn't have time.
Buffalo Pond.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have time, so he did it the next day. Oh shit! And he returns it to Best Buy, and they're like, "Oh, it's alright. You're out of the expiration. All we can do is a fucking
Gift card.
Gift card."
Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, I don't have the money. I got a fucking $800 gift card.
No, it was $1,000 gift
$1,000 gift. That's right.
And it was
I'll
$1,000.
be like, give me that card.
But I was like, give it to me.
give you a
Let me see
bus
what I
ticket.
can do.
Yeah, you got a buyer.
So I got a buyer at 20% discount,
Yes, I can give you $800.
and I come back and it's like,
you give me that card. Like, here's your Greyhound.
He's like,
exactly.
he's so hopeful. Like, yeah, here's my gift card. Give it to me. And I'll start dialing my network, and I was like, yeah, I got.
I was already in Dallas. My buddy gave it to you.
Yeah. And
I
then,
was
like,
stuck in
Fight for
Dallas.
that card.
Exactly. And then I got the gift card, and I was like, okay, I got the buyer. I come back and I give you 800. So you invest with me 1,000, give you 20% less, right? $800. Here's the money. Buy the
Yeah,
ticket.
exactly.
And but he was like, okay, fuck it, it's fine. I get
fuck it. We get to go to New York. I was like, holy
you
shit.
turn something liquid into something liquid, you know.
You helped me do that. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that shit without you. So I'm over there, and then the team starts heading back to Laredo, and Dr. Rivas, which you know very well.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, we're all heading home. I was like, hey, Dr. Rivas, I'm actually going to New York.
And actually,
He's
you
our
won't.
chaperone.
Actually, you won't see my ass no more because I just sold a school's computer that y'all gave me. So,
Dr. Rivas was
By the way, you don't have a computer
by the
anymore.
way, I don't have my
Dr.
computer
Rivas
anymore
was
for
a
labs.
finance professor.
Yeah.
Dr.
Dr.
who? Reyes?
Dr. Rivas, it was a very good.
Shout out to
finance-
Dr. Reyes.
Yeah, man,
Dr.
shout out to
Rivas.
him.
Rivas, okay. Rivas.
One of the coolest among all cool teachers
Okay.
in finance.
I
From
think I
time
met
of
him
year.
on a webcast, right? Because we were talking about getting some interns over here. Remember that?
No, that's
was not him?
that's
All
another
right, that's
doctor.
another doctor.
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, and that's how we got your trip to.
With
New York.
that, I barely made the flight. I remember.
So y'all, I'm gonna speed it up. So y'all get to New York and
Oh,
then
yeah, sorry. Sorry, Marcus. We're over here having a love
y'all reminiscing and
The
shit.
triangle again.
Reminiscing.
The audience wants to know let's get to the damn.
So
So who's getting killed? Who's gonna get bit by a shark? What the hell?
no, I
Let's
think
get,
that was
get
a
to the
very
climax.
that
So
was
y'all
a
got
very,
to New York. What
I
happened?
went to New York, but that was a very that was one of my best experiences in New York because
What y'all do?
You right away you activate your network over there in New York because you had it was this rep from Bloomberg.
Okay.
in our college, right?
Yeah. I told him I'm trying to get the school to buy like
Frank
3 more.
Napoleon. That's the name of the guy.
You remember his
Yeah,
name?
of
I was
course,
like,
I
is
know.
Napoleon something? Freddie or
Frank Napoleon.
That sounds like his
He's
alias.
a salesman.
Oh,
He's a sales guy. He's a sales rep from Bloomberg, the guy who puts the terminals at universities.
Yeah, but that ain't his real
Nothing
name.
to fucking
That's
related
his-
to us, right?
That's the
But yet
dude's-
he found an edge. He opened
Yeah.
the door. He contacted them and tell them, look, we're hungry motherfuckers from Laredo, Texas.
literally hungry.
Literally,
We ain't
You
got
got
no
any
money for no
food?
food.
That's necessity.
I heard you have a cafeteria.
We hungry for real.
That's necessity. That's necessity.
We hungry and we hungry.
And you
Exactly.
call this guy and tell him, look, we're from Laredo, Texas.
Yeah.
This is our first experience in New York. We are finance lovers. We do stocks and derivatives, options, futures, and all that shit, right? And I was like, okay, some dude from the border in Mexico and U.S. Let's give it a chance. But that happened to be the best freaking experience because that guy allows us to go visit at Lexington Avenue, the Bloomberg building.
Yeah.
So we got there. Before that, his outfit was like,
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I was
He
gonna
didn't have a
mention
suit, did he? He didn't have no suit, did he?
bro, he didn't
Oh,
have,
dude.
bro, he has a suit that was like almost like a short, It was
Yeah,
too fucking
because that was his Easter suit. His mama got him like 5 years ago.
it was his suit from
He outgrew it.
picture this. He was 19 and the suit was like he was 13 years old.
Yeah, that was his Easter suit.
So that was 6 years
That
ago.
was his Easter
the
suit.
best thing was he's like,
We had
"Nah,
that Michael
dude."
Jackson high waters on there. It grew out of it.
And
I told him we got the meeting, right? And he's like, what are you gonna wear? And I was like, oh, I only have this. He's like, shut the fuck up. You're not gonna go like that.
No, but hold on. That was this. No, but I remember this. This is the best part. You actually took that suit to Bloomberg the first time. We were there, right?
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we didn't have time
Yeah,
to.
because
Yeah.
at night, the evening,
Yeah, it
we were
was
gonna
gonna be
have
the real
this
meeting.
this Mark Lostry, which is the billionaire.
It was all
right?
billionaires and millionaires at this
All
meeting.
they're gonna be billionaires and millionaires.
They
but
snuck
that's-
us in.
And you
yeah.
wearing a $30
but
suit.
no. But before that,
Not even.
before that,
one that you can't get wet.
we went straight to Bloomberg, right?
Yeah.
The building. They opened the door to us, a private
that's
access,
right.
shit like that.
Yeah.
We met some some
They were
analysts,
showing
some
us how to
technical
use the software
analysts.
like on another level.
We sit down with them. It was like 3 motherfuckers, like with the stripes, Gordon Gekko style. I
Yeah.
remember that with the Rolex and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And they were like talking and showing us the graph, like
'Cause they saw us as buyers because I wanted to get the
No,
school
I
to
think
buy
they,
like
I think they
$100,000.
saw y'all as like trading places. We're gonna bet $1 that we can take these assholes from Laredo. They don't have no money, no clothes, no nothing.
I don't know,
And then
but
we're gonna do something.
for me, that was the best-
They, y'all,
That
they were
explains
fucking
a lot.
with- They
For
were
me-
fucking with
for
y'all.
me, that was the
explains a
best
lot.
charity that they ever done in their life.
They
you
were-
know, I'm
they were
super
doing
grateful for that.
They were
It
playing
was
with y'all.
really nice.
Because they allow us to use the Bloomberg, and we were like with the key inputting and showing the technical analysis
Yeah.
and support resistance and all that shit, right?
Yeah,
and
it
we're
was
like, okay,
really
this
nice,
kid's right.
yeah.
And then Napoleon.
Or maybe they met their sensitivity ratio that this ain't all 99.9% white dudes using. See, we got some
Diversity.
Mexicans too, so we let some Mexicans play with
my
it.
Mexican accent, and then this guy with his suit that was from 30s. So he's like, damn, this guy's gonna be some fucking genius, right? Let's grind them, right?
Yeah, this is a Burry. What's this Michael Burry type of? These are Michael Burry.
I think they thought it was a future Michael Burry on
For
that
sure.
part. And then finally, right, they invite us to this. I remember the presentation, distress opportunities in Europe,
Yeah,
right?
this guy had bought Ford. Like this guy fucking bought Ford in 08.
Yeah.
Mark Lasry, and so he tells us about that.
His
and
net worth like a couple $1 billion.
yeah, and Diego connects the dots, and he's like, bro, you can't fucking go like that. So he's like, we're gonna go to Zara right now,
Zara in New
and
York.
and blow your $800 fucking laptop. And he starts telling me, you need to wear this, you need to wear that, you need to wear this. And
But you were paying with the credit card. I remember that. It was full credit card.
because he told me, he's like, bro, you look like a fucking waiter. And I remember the Zara chick, she looks at you and she laughs and she's just nodding in agreement. Like, yes, like this guy.
They were
had a
confused.
white-
We'd be like, "Nice to meet you. Could you bring us some more drinks?" They thought you worked there.
and then to put cherry on the story, you needed a haircut right away.
Nobody was available.
So nobody was
That's
available
$100
until we
in New
hold
York.
on that. That was
should have
fucking
got your
crazy.
shit
Nailed
cut
it.
here.
So they recommend us this Wall Street hairstyle,
Oh, shit.
salon, very underground and
Yeah.
very
Fabio.
very like
bourgeois.
elegant and champagne and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sitting there right there, all nervous because we're gonna have this presentation at 7:00 or 7:30, right, at Bloomberg. Again.
Yeah.
And he's like, taking the haircut and shit like that.
I fell asleep. The guy was
He
still
fell
shaving
asleep
me
because he
and
got
shit.
shaving and the music, the splash.
Never had that
right?
kind of treatment before.
Oh, it was amazing, man. I had no idea.
And then imagine two college guys, right?
saw the bill.
Never pay more than $100 on a haircut.
You got
right?
the bill.
Oh, yeah, I had no idea.
And you have no idea because you're like, it's gonna be $15.
That'd be $25.
Same the usual,
That'll
right?
be expensive.
Varsity sport,
Right,
like in
exactly.
Laredo, right?
Extreme
$15.
clips type of
Extreme
thing.
clips and shit like that, right? And then boom, more than
Sport
100.
cuts.
I think it was
100 and something.
160 or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember his face was like, in his mind, he's like, "Wow, this is the fucking most expensive haircut
I ever had.
in my freaking life, right?"
Yeah.
But you look sharp.
Dude.
Send me over that photo so whenever we're talking,
I will.
We'll put in the as a rollout, the final presentation.
I have one image. Yeah, I have one image at Trump Tower actually with Megan. Megan's now she's a fucking White House correspondent. She's there in the briefings. Remember Megan?
Yeah.
She was a reporter for CNN or MSNBC. Now she's in the fucking White House. And I'll send you that one photo we have. So
Yes.
you pimped me out. I mean, talk about pimp my ride. This was on another level. Like it went
my
from
own
waiter to fucking let's talk some business.
And then we're at the Mark Gloucester Distress Opportunities in Europe. That was a presentation, and how he just naturally he bought a couple $1 billion on distressed debt
small little
from Greece and other Italy and some other country. He was buying debt, distressed debt, right?
Yeah,
Billions of dollars, right? And he was explaining the guys how he's doing it to the hedge fund guys and a couple millionaires as
it was
well.
all millionaires and billionaires.
And
in
how
that.
there was so much big opportunities. So imagine the reporters and the hedge fund guys with millions and millions of dollars to deploy, and then
and two fucking pikers.
and then two fucking pikers, right, from Laredo, Texas, sitting in the middle
With not $2 to their name.
with no $2 in their name. And I
Wondering
was
how we're
so
gonna get home.
freaking nervous because I was shaking. I was like, because I wanted to ask a
Dude.
question at the end. I wanted to ask
Oh,
about,
shit.
I don't remember exactly the question that I wanted to throw, but I was like, no fucking way, I'm not doing this. You gotta fucking do this. Is your
But the
opportunity.
networking beforehand, dude, like that was the first time I ever like just literally just bullshitted the entire conversation because I was so nervous about this JP Morgan guy who was managing billions of dollars. I was like, am I gonna tell
So
him?
basically, y'all just snuck in some shit that y'all
Yeah,
weren't supposed to be in there.
Exactly. We were so out of place.
Y'all were just snuck in there.
Everybody was over 35 to 40.
And after that, it was just.
And y'all were just hoping y'all didn't get made
After
out.
that, it was just
Yeah.
about getting drunk in New York.
Well, I go to the coat check to go get my fucking backpack. The college student I am, I was carrying my backpack around, and
That's how you got your internship.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Brett Waker was there, and he's getting his coat, and I make a comment. Like, he says something about, like, hey, there was some money in there, better still be in there. He's just joking with the girl. And that's all. I was like, yeah, you got to double check, right? It's subtle like that. And he looks at me like, what the fuck are you doing here, right? And so he takes me under his arm, and we start chatting, and then we go downstairs to the Bloomberg bar. And from there, we start talking about, like, coffee futures and all this stuff. And he's like,
And I still remember when he said, where are you from? Where are you guys from? Oh, we're from Texas A&M, the international branch in Laredo, Texas. So you can look more like,
Yeah.
oh, A&M.
That's legit.
Badass. Not Tommy you. So just as a personal
Right.
advice, if you want to sell yourself once you
Say
graduate
it all-
from Tommy
say it
you,
all the way out.
say it like this. I'm from Texas A&M, the international branch in Laredo,
Don't
Texas.
say
there you go.
Tammy, you.
That's absolutely key.
Nice
that.
meeting you.
Yeah.
And promise you, it's a good mindfuck for those in New York and all those places.
Just
when
to Tammy used the poor man's version.
just
of
don't tell you're an
Texas.
Aggie. Just don't tell
Yeah,
you're a
don't present
Dusty
it like
Devil.
that.
Dusty Devil.
It's the knockoff Texas A&M.
They'll think you're an Aggie, but in reality you're the Dusty Devil.
It ain't College Station. It's like the knockoff. So.
But it's the international branch in Laredo, by the way.
But because of the whole, what's that lady in the movie where she's a prostitute, gets turned around, and she goes back to the store, and she's like, oh, well, next time be nice, was a Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
Because of your Pretty Woman makeover on me, the intellectual side met with this guy, and he's like, okay, well, this guy looks sharp. He lent me his Ferragamo belt.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was put He offered me a job there, and
Your internship, yeah.
it wouldn't have. It was.
Oh,
it was a job.
It was a job offer.
It was a
Yeah,
job.
that's
I turned it into an internship with the school. I was like, hey, can I fucking get
That's
credit for
right.
this? But it was a job, and they paid everything. But it wouldn't have happened without you, man. So
And it
seriously,
wouldn't
I
have happened
can't-
if y'all went up there swinging on y'all's ass.
Yeah.
Like you did, and you took a risk, and it paid.
So the advice for those who, if
Sometimes
a
you
friend
gotta-
invite you to New York, you fucking do it.
fucking do it.
Sometimes you just gotta step outside your comfort zone.
Sometimes you don't know how life is gonna actually, surprise you. From one simple decision, and it was just like that. It was
step up.
I never thought of saying no. I was like, that's fucking crazy to think about right now. But the way you present things, you're cool, suave, and everything. I was like, I know he's gonna make it a great time, and you did. You knew a lot about New York, and you made it an amazing trip. Turned my ass around, and made this possible. Which, because of that internship, I go down and meet Mr. Marcus and tell him that I just got back from trading stocks in New York. I mean, that's
Which
what
made me
opened
think
the
a little
fucking
higher
door.
of him than I would have. So there you go.
there you go.
And then you ended up
Bullshit
meeting him.
adds up.
So for those, the final advice on all this, it's if you're still yet in your 20s, go to New York, right?
man.
Explore.
No,
You
just
know,
step outside your comfort zone.
step
Try
out-
some shit
that's-
that you would
that's-
not normally do.
Exactly. Step
Force
out there.
yourself to do something.
And that's
Because
the
if you're
best.
sitting on your mama's couch, that ain't gonna take you too far. You got to get up off the couch and do something.
And that's the
Take a
best way
risk.
to wrap up this episode. We've been almost more than an hour.
Yeah, this one went long.
Yeah.
This one long.
The
too
production
much-
team is telling us like, hey,
Hey,
this shit.
I'm falling asleep.
We'll do more episodes
y'all,
for sure.
Y'all messing up our tape.
You're
We don't
messing
got
up
so
my
much tape.
tape,
All the data storage is being used up.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, Roger.
Thank you guys.
Best of luck with the Distrubi.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. We're gonna put in our YouTube channel the website for people can look for you on
yeah.
the services that you offer.
Thank you.
Anything you want to just find out conclusions.
Yeah. So, just thank you guys for being incredible friends, incredible mentors for the last decade. I'm really.
Still owe me $50.
Where's my money, Wayne?
I'll give you credit with the pick and pack.
I love you, bro. I love you, but I want my,
Where's my money, Wayne? Where's my
want
money,
my paper
Wayne?
now.
Yeah, I mean, just the opportunities you guys have opened up, the things you guys are doing. I'm just so incredibly proud that some of my best friends, really, that are doing such amazing things. Everything you guys are doing is phenomenal. Really happy and honored to be here. It's really a proud moment, to be with you guys, and I'm looking forward to more of it. And just hopefully my business keeps going good too, and we'll all be balling it up somewhere in some islands or something. So
In New York.
Always chopping it up.
All
That's
right.
what we do.
Well, my partner Marcus, thanks again. Roger, thanks again. Episode number 11.
1-1.
We appreciate your time. Drop your comments, your inquiries, whatever you got in mind.
Shout out us. Give us a shout out.
Give us a shout out. This is what they call the click to action, call to action.
Call to action.
This is what we call call to action. All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace out. Your game tight.